The New York Knicks are interested in multiple free agents, including Lonnie Walker and Marcus Morris, amid the injury to Landry Shamet dislocating his shoulder. And the team is going to have to do something to figure this out, as they only have 12 guys on the roster right now, and you have to have at least 14. So we have to break this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video. Because the New York Knicks, after losing Landry Shamet, are down to 12 guys on the roster as they waived him after he dislocated his shoulder, who is on a non-guaranteed Exhibit 9 contract. And essentially all that means is that if you get waived, you can play for the G League if you want. You can't be turned into a two-way contract because you've played too many years in the NBA. That's what an Exhibit 10 contract is for. And now the Knicks are going to have to figure out what their next move is, and that is going to be signing a different free agent, as the team now needs to go out there and replace Landry Shamet, who could be out for months with an injury. Now, it's been reported the Knicks do like Landry Shamet. They'd rather keep Shamet around if he can return from his dislocated shoulder soon. And sometimes, as we know, you can, and other times, as we've seen, you can't. Now, we've broken down the dislocated shoulder stuff a lot because of what happened with Julius Randle. He had the same injury as Shamet did. Shoulder popped out, same right shoulder, all that stuff. And we saw Julius never play for the Knicks again. I'm not going to say that's going to happen to Landry Shamet, but they only have 12 guys on the roster, and it's mandated that you have 14. Now, you can have under 14 for a total of 28 days in the season and 14 consecutive days, meaning the Knicks can manipulate this a little bit and essentially sign someone, then waive him right after, so they can still do their 28 days while they figure out who to bring on to the team. And it's just becoming this huge thing, is the Knicks do appear to be interested in multiple players, one of them being, or two of them being, Marcus Morris Sr., and Lonnie Walker, but there's also others, according to the New York Post, who the Knicks could be interested in bringing to the team. And guys, it is something to really be aware of, that the Knicks, they're going to have to bring in someone. The bench unit, it's not bad, but it's very thin, and when injuries hit, and they hit in the NBA, you're going to have to go out there and sign someone who can at least bring some sort of value to this team, or play a major role in the rotation at points of the year. I've said this before, I think it should certainly be Lonnie Walker, and the New York Knicks seemingly agree, as clearly they have interest in Lonnie Walker. Now, Walker was a good player last season for the Brooklyn Nets, putting up 9 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, shooting 38% from 3 and 45% from the corner. He seems like such a Tom Thibodeau player, but the way that he gives insane effort, the way that he goes out there and just does an absolutely phenomenal job playing his role, hitting threes, being a good athlete, being a solid defender. Lonnie's got a lot going for him, and it seemed like a mistake when the Los Angeles Lakers let him walk to Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn let him go as they're tanking. They have no need for Lonnie Walker. The Celtics pick him up on a non-guaranteed deal and then waive him, which in my mind is a huge mistake by the Boston Celtics, and I want to see the Knicks capitalize on this because Walker just fits so well. I mean, the Knicks love corner threes. They shoot more corner threes than anyone, or at least they have over the last 2 seasons now. Lonnie shoots 45% from there. He could totally fill in for Shamet. And low-key, guys, Lonnie Walker's a better player than Landry Shamet, if you ask me. I mean, last year, Shamet shot 33% from 3. Given he was on the Wizards, his role was strange. And 42% in the corner. Lonnie shoots better from both of those areas while also being a superior athlete and someone who could really run an offense at times or dominate the ball a bit off the bench. And he's been in big moments with the Los Angeles Lakers, giving them a huge boost to getting to the NBA Western Conference Finals just a few years ago. Now, Marcus Morris, on the other hand, he adds size. He's a good shooter, shooting 40% from 3, 43% in the corner. He's got that dog mentality. We know he loves playing for that New York crowd. The man has been around the NBA a lot. He's been on contenders. He's been on bad teams. One of those bad teams being the Knicks, which he loved playing for regardless of the fact that they were bad because he was getting a bunch of shots. And also, well, the Knicks fans embraced him. So Marcus Morris would be a great signing, but it is worth noting he declined a training camp offer from the New York Knicks. As Morris, here's the deal. Marcus Morris did not like that the Knicks waived him when they brought in Karl Anthony Towns. So when they did that, he certainly felt some sort of way and said, no, I'm not going to training camp to not get a roster spot with you guys. That's not happening. I'm better than that. I deserve better. So what happened? Marcus stays a free agent. Now the Knicks are interested once again. But this time if they come calling and they say, hey, you are going to be in the rotation if you take this, he's obviously going to say yes, especially as someone who's not currently on an NBA team yet, who doesn't want to end his career yet at 35 years old. Veteran. I love the idea of Marcus Morris. Also, I just think Lonnie Walker is the best guy you could sign right now. I think he's the best free agent available. And I think he's certainly the one that the Knicks should be going after. Now, Ian Begley talked a bit about all these guys and kind of ran down that there is initial optimism that Shamet can avoid surgery and the Knicks may maintain roster flexibility early in the season while Shamet rehabs so they have room to re-sign him later on. If it is determined that he needs surgery, Begley does assume the Knicks will find someone else for that final roster spot. Now, also, as Ian Begley also wanted to mention, New York currently has 12 players under traditional contracts. As Bobby Marks mentioned, you can only have 14 players on the roster for a short period of time. They can have fewer than 14 players on the roster for 28 total days and no longer than 14 consecutive days. So the Knicks could carry 12 players until November 4th, though I don't really think that makes much sense. Though they do have the two-way contracts. They have guys like Ariel Hukporti, who is going to get converted, as Begley mentions here. And also, you could play guys like McCullough Jr. when he's healthy. And you have rookies to play. You have guys you could bring up and stuff. You do have Jacob Toppin. Like, you have three two-way guys, so you got that going for you. And also, they're about to have two two-way guys, so they're going to be able to sign someone else to a two-way contract. Look for maybe Dimitrios Kapinstev, who did get waived by the Boston Celtics to come back to the Knicks on a two-way. That would not be too surprising. And as mentioned by Begley, they would have to sign a player to a traditional contract soon. Prior to Shamet's injury, the Knicks were expected to convert Ariel Hukporti from a two-way contract. As I already said, they're still going to do that. I would assume, Begley saying, that they will still convert Hukporti and either re-sign Shamet or add another veteran to get to 14 players. I mean, to me, this just screams go out there and sign Lonnie Walker. I mean, Lonnie Walker is someone who's been great these last 2 years. He's been a good NBA player. It's surprising that he's struggling to find a role in basketball right now. It doesn't make sense to me, honestly. Lonnie's such a great talent. It just makes no sense that he's really struggling to fill a void for a team. Like, if the Knicks are interested in him, and the Knicks are complete contenders and have a rotation spot open for him, given I get they've made trades, specifically the Towns trade, which weakened the bench because DiVincenzo is no longer on it, you get this world where you have to know other teams should be interested also. Maybe Lonnie doesn't want to go to a bad team, but that doesn't make much sense if he just played for Brooklyn last year. He was willing to be on a bad team then, so it'd be a strange choice. Now, Lonnie was also teammates with none other than Mikal Bridges before, so it would be a nice reunion there, the same way they did that with Mikal and Cameron Payne. You kind of get to keep things in the family also. You get already some built-in team chemistry, which is always helpful for everyone involved. I think this is such a win of a signing. Now, yeah, Marcus Morris I'd also be happy with, don't get me wrong. I honestly think both guys fit the Knicks better than Landry Shamet does. Now, Marcus Morris, he's been in the NBA for over 10 years, so his veteran minimum contract is in the $3 million. That does mess with the Knicks' salary a lot, so I think Lonnie Walker's a lot more realistic because they pay him less, and they are very close to that second apron. So if they were to sign Marcus Morris and Ariel Hukporti, they would probably end up in the second apron to where we'd see the Knicks trade someone like Precious Achiuwa or even Jericho Sims throughout the season just to dip under a little bit. Probably Precious. He's on that $6 million contract. You trade him for someone who makes $3 million, boom, you're safe again. But it is something to note that is very important. I find it really interesting to see what the Knicks are going to do here because this is very unexpected, all this going down. Now, guys, I really do think they might sign Lonnie Walker. He seems like he's the most realistic scenario here. He's the best player they have. We know the Knicks have been adamant about strengthening up their bench before the Karl-Anthony Towns trade where they weakened it, because they didn't want to have a scenario where they couldn't dig into the end of the bench if injuries hit. And as I already said, injuries do hit in the NBA. So when all that stuff happens, make sure to subscribe to Knicks Digest because 24% of people are subscribed watching this video. Let's get that number up, guys. Come on, we can get 50%. If you're watching, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot, and it would really mean a lot. So, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day, and go Knicks.